Trips in Buffalo Bills offensive playbook. Got a little mini scheme for you here today, and they're going to be kind of messing around with this. Wanted to drop something out of trips. Haven't really talked a lot about trips this year, but this basic trips tight end is still really, really good for a lot of different reasons. So wanted to kind of go through and just share with you some combos that I like out of this. If you guys want to get my full trips breakdown, that's going to be in our school community, school.com/Cody Ballard. I'll be putting the link to that down in the description. I'm going to take my double or nothing out so that he doesn't ruin the the video. Double or nothing's in practice mode is insane. So first and foremost, audibles in alignment. What are the audibles that I like out of this formation? I really like verticals. I really like PA boot shot. A couple other plays that I do think is really, really good. These orbit motions are cool. I really like the RPO alert motion screen, but honestly the bubble's probably better. So I'm gonna put the bubble in here as my run audible. And then really, other than that, probably just this shallow X dig play. I think it's the only other one you really need. The cool part about trips this year is you kind of have everything, pretty much just in your plays. You don't have to do a whole lot, so you don't have to have a whole lot of stuff. We'll take a look at wide receiver short post, but this play is not as good as it has been in the past. But the main play I want to go over first is verticals. This is just a really good trips play every single year. And the reason why this is a good trips play is because these kind of seam plays with little running back in route are really effective for just attacking the middle of the field. You see here, I can just throw this. This vertical streak. Let me show you this one more time. Hopefully we'll actually be able to catch it. There you go. Kind of just gets into a soft spot of the field against cover 4. Seeing a lot more cover 2 this year than I think we thought we would. And so with cover 2, this verticals play is really good because you're going to see here that you have this fade. This fade is not as good as you see. We get the reroute, and it's really good against hard flatted cover 2. But a lot of people are soft squatting in their cover 2s. And so what you have here is you're going to have your running back underneath. So you can throw that route, which is really good. And then the other thing that you're going to be able to do is you are going to be able to throw this. Let me show you. You're going to be able to throw this this seam streak, super tight window, but you can certainly throw this. So I'll show you that one more time and give you a little bit better example. So if we go cover 2, I'm just going to try to give myself a little bit more time. But as long as we have enough time here, and they're in a cover 2 coverage, and they're dropping everybody back, this is a clean one-play touchdown against cover 2. Now, cover 4, I think, defends the seam streak a little bit better than cover 3 does, for example, because in cover 3, if you take a look at the coverage, the safety is going to pinch to the middle of the field. So because he's going to do that, this seam streak has got a chance to get more open. Now, one thing that cover 3 does that is kind of weird this year is if they're not adjusting their hook curls, something you need to know, if they're not adjusting their hook curls, like they're not shading any direction, or they don't have it on 5, watch this hook curl. Whoops, I'm sorry, I didn't have verticals dialed up. Let me actually put verticals back. Here we go. And then I'll show you kind of what this does in cover 3. So watch this hook curl on the left side. You're going to see he jets out to the outside, and he actually picks this off. So that is good for the seam streak defense. But the problem is, if they do that at a cover 3, you could easily just throw this running back right here and get upfield. Another thing you can do is, let's say you put a comeback out here. These are just kind of little ways to adapt this play. You'll see here that the comeback is going to get open as well. What a lot of people do is they shade those hook curls underneath, or they put them on a 5-yard zone drop. If they do that, normally this hook curl is going to sit in the middle, and now this is going to get open. Okay, so it's just kind of basing it off, what they're doing, right? And if they're running a lot of cover 3, you can go to really any of these plays. PA boot shot, I think, is the best. I would block the running back. I would not actually run a play action. I would just block the running back. And then what you're able to do now is if you start to notice they're running a lot of cover 3, you're just going to streak the middle receiver and you're going to drag this outside receiver. And what's going to happen is this crossing route is going to be a cover 3 beater for you, as you can see. Now, what your opponent will do and start to do on this right side because of this play is they will take their corner and they're going to put him in a deep half. And this is where I really like verticals again, and specifically this tight end short corner. Because you'll see this tight end short corner will just get open to the sideline really easily. Okay? So I like to have this tight end corner. I think it's one of the most important routes in trips tight end. And if you start to see this a lot, what you can start to do, another thing that they'll start to do is they'll just straight up play cover 2 to the right. If they start playing cover 2 to the right, then you just want to put the running back on a table route and just take what the defense gives you that way, right? Because a lot of times what they'll do, and you can put the running back on a table route, you could also put him on an out route. But if they're running a lot of cover 2, this running back should be kind of one of your main reads over here to the right side. So you can kind of get some nice high-low reads over there to the right side within this play. The next play we're going to be going over is shallow dig. All we're going to do with this play is we're just going to flat this outside receiver. We're just going to snap the ball. You're going to see that, again, we're going to kind of take advantage of that hook curl. If they're not putting their hook curls on 5, that's where stuff like this really starts to hurt them, because you can just dump this down to this drag every single time. It's just super open. It's going to beat man. It's just going to be a really good route. So what they're going to have to do, and this is where you kind of get into the back and forth, but they're going to have to do one of two things. They can either user it, which is what I'll show here, or they can put their hook curls on 5. So if they decide that they're going to user it, then there's this void over the middle here where you can throw this crosser right in this little window, right? And then another thing that you can do is if you're able to wait on this, which this is a little bit more of a dangerous throw, but if you're able to wait on the route, the dig coming back over the middle, you see there is kind of get open in that middle of the field, especially if they try to carry, maybe they try to switch stick onto the crosser, then this dig is going to be open. So you see here, kind of right in that pocket. Okay. Another thing about this play, or if we go back to verticals for a minute. So with verticals, another thing I like to do this year, I really like this combo this year. We're just going to flat this middle trips receiver. We're going to in route this outside trips receiver. We're going to block our running back and streak our tight end. The reason I like this versus like PA counter go is I just think that this crosser from circle is a little better against man. And you'll see here that this read is super, like it's a great quick read to have. And the more they try to guard that in route, basically they're going to have to shade underneath to guard it, right? So they shade underneath, but then you see, he still can throw it. You see what I'm saying? So there's like a very specific way to stop it. So the best way to stop it is that this slot would be on a vertical hook. So it would look, really the defense would look something more like this, right? They would start to get into a coverage that looks like this, right? Okay. So if they do that, this is going to obviously open up verticals in a minute, but I'll just show you. This will play that route pretty well, and then they can kind of switch stick or user this crosser. But you can throw the crosser if they don't user it, right? So then if you're kind of playing the game, you're in the flow of the game, and you start to see that, then you go to this play. The reason I like this play is because this is going to bomb cover 2 sink, and this is going to also, if they are running kind of what I was just showing you, this is going to be really, really good for it. So you just set up the coverage. A lot of people will actually put a quarter on this guy. They won't put a middle third. And then this will be like, a lot of times this guy will be blitzing, right? So the circle receiver, if you watch this, has a real good chance of getting open up the seam. And I could have thrown that a little sooner. Let me show that. Throw it a little sooner this time. And see, I can kind of just throw this right on that seam. Now, the other thing that I can do, and I will say, cover 2 this year is the deep halves. They just get outside a lot more than they have in previous Maddens. So this is a little bit of a tough throw right now. But watch this fade. See, I can just kind of throw it in that hole shot. That's another thing that you have access to. So those are some of my favorite, just kind of like base plays that are good against all kinds of things. Now, when they start to run man coverage, a lot of people this year like to run man coverage against trips because man coverage just plays trips pretty well normally. What I like to do against man-to-man is this shallow X dig play is pretty decent against man. The reason why is this tight end drag is really good. Just gets across the field really well against man coverage. So what they might try to do is just kind of walk you through kind of some adjustments that you might see. Might do a little 3 rec and a little hard flat. Okay, well, if I'm in shallow X dig, right, then I'm going to be able to easily just hit this crosser because we know crossers are pretty decent at beating man coverage. And then also, if they use the crosser, then you have the backside in route. Another way that I like to beat man, and this has been good for trips for a long time, the way I like to do it this year is a little different. You can post your tight end. The reason I don't like to post my tight end is because you see how he doesn't really run where I would want him to run. What I like to do, and I'll show you here, like this post it's also not that good of a man-beating post. What I like to do with this is I really like to put my tight end on an in route, and I'm going to stem it up 2 times. So it's going to run about 15 yards. I'm then going to slant my slot receiver. I'm going to flat my my middle trips receiver. And then I'm going to streak my outside receiver. And the way you get the streak is use the D-pad. So just like this right here. You can do this out of literally any play. And what you're going to see here is one of the most consistent ways to beat man coverage from trips. That in route will always beat man. It's very difficult for them to guard that in route in man coverage. Okay? So then the other thing that you do have as well here is you have this backside slant. And this slant will normally be a cleaner throw than that was. That was actually surprisingly covered. And if you want to, you can also, it doesn't have to be just a slant. So, like, let's say they're throwing a half over there to take the fade away, right? You can utilize a drag. Just understand that obviously if they hard flat, it's not as open as the slant, but the drag is good as well. And there, for some reason, I don't know why my drag is getting bagged. Let's run a drag with this dude. I don't know why they're able to bag that drag route. Then we'll do the in route. All right, let's see if this can. And there you see. This is what normally happens. The drag route normally gets a lot more separation. So I don't know why that guy was getting bagged on that drag. So you have that. And then one of my other favorite plays is P-boot shot. So with this play, what makes this play really cool is you have a kind of a unique route to circle. They're all unique routes on the field. But you have this deep post. So this deep post is really good for trying to bomb coverages, as well as it's just better than a hot routed post. And so we'll do the same combo just like this. And what this will do is, let's say that, we guess wrong and they're in cover 2, Well, if we guess wrong and they're in cover 2, this deep post is going to normally bomb it. I'll tell you what, the zones of this game are something different. Let me show you one more time. You just have to wait on it a little bit more, a little bit longer. And you can look at this outside. You can stem this down 1 to make it a little sharper. Get a little bit better of a pass lead. And you see we're able to beat cover 2 over the top, right? So we're able to beat cover 2 over the top. We're also typically able to beat cover 4 with this setup if we want to put a slant. So you'll see here I put a slant this time. I accidentally left the crosser. I did not mean to do that, so it's probably not going to work. Yeah. So if you want to bomb cover 4, you streak this guy like this. This is the setup for cover 4. And we'll see if we can hit this. You do have to have a lot of time for this to work. And I think Cal Hamilton's just gonna absolutely ruin it because he's so fast. But this is a setup you could try to use if you ever want to try to bomb cover 4 from trips. This would be kind of my go-to setup. Let's see if we can get it here. And you see how Cal Hamilton, he'll probably be able to catch up. But you see how he kind of like squatted, and then you're able to throw that over the top if, you have a little bit more fast receiver over there. So you don't have to be able to, bomb every coverage necessarily, right? Because you're going to rarely have time to throw that anyway. This setup, as far as cover 4 goes, we'll go over that real quick. This setup still beats cover 4. So this setup you'll see right here, the main throw is like right in this pocket, possession, catch it. So it's still a big play against cover 4. It just doesn't typically bomb it, right? Okay, wide receiver short post. The whole purpose of this play would be like to run like a mesh. And then you can, let's see here, kind of throw this post in zone. See how I get that sharp cut? Nice read over the middle of the field for you against zone coverage. And then you also have the double drags. I think the double drags is pretty good this year. Just does a good job of beating a lot of different coverages. But that's my main plays that I like for trips. And you do have the bubble screen. You do have some kind of unique plays. I'll show you some kind of the, I guess, more unique stuff that you can do out of trips. Cover 4. This couple of these motion plays. So we went over those plays. So I'll just throw these in the audibles here. This orbit PA wheel is kind of a crazy play. We can look at that. Let's see if there's any other plays. Deep in we can go over. Okay, so the motion. Let me see if I can stem this up. Okay, I told you wrong. I got the wrong motion play. All right, it's the motion levels, motion return, yeah. And then we'll get, you also have China wide put. There's just a lot of plays in trips this year, which is an advantage. I think the more plays, the harder the switch stick. So if we look at this play, motion return levels, you have a couple routes that are kind of good. Really, the main route you have is this motion return. So what I like to do with this is we'll just post, we'll drag the tight end, we'll flat the running back, streak the slot, and then basically run it like this. And the reason this is good is because this really spaces out kind of that, it really just almost attacks like that right side yellow, like right there. That's the read that you want. It's also really good against man specifically. Let me see if I can stem up. Oh, sweet. So on this motion Z spot, you have so you can stem this slant and it turns it into a sharp post. This is this is just like a really, really good route. So again, this is probably better than wide receiver short post because watch how this post runs. You're going to see, oh gosh, shedded. If you watch how this post runs though, this Z spot. So look at so you see how this is a slant, more of a slant. If I stem him up, you see how it becomes more of a post. And then what'll happen here, if we have some time, that's crazy. That's a 3-man shed. That's literally a 3-man shed. drives me nuts that they shed like that in practice mode. But you watch this post, and it just gets into this. It gets into this spot on the field that you can throw. For some reason, the yellow zone is playing. This is why 5-yard hook curls are a requirement. So if they're going to do that, guys, if you are struggling against that coverage that it just bagged me, please, for everything, just run the drags and throw this route because it's 15 yards, right? So that forces the adjustment, forces the hand of the opponent, and then this is where this post is going to become useful. You see, look at how fast he runs that post. He's going to get that animation a lot. So also, if you're another kind of example of, okay, we're facing some man-to-man, this would be a play that I would really want to be calling. Well, you see here, watch this post against man. The sharp cutting posts do a really good job of beating man, and you see how we're getting that nice animation where we're able to catch the ball against it. So that's something that you have. Another play that's kind of worth touching on is deep in. This one, you would basically run it like this, and then normally what you could even do is you could even stem this guy up one to make it run super far, and then against that cover 4, this could actually kind of get into a unique spot. So you see, watch that post. Yeah, it's going to just run, and you're going to really try to throw this over here. Wasn't able to get it that time, but we go to let me actually show like a post like this almost. So a hot routed post or a curl flat post. Let's see if we can get this against cover 4 to kind of, see how you can kind of get it like to the sideline. That's the reason why you would use a play like that. Orbit PA wheel. One of my favorite things to do with this play is to just flat this receiver here and streak my tight end. And then I would want to have something on the left side from this outside guy. So it could be, you could even do it like this. This is just kind of a mix-in play, right? But watch this running back route. Kind of just gets into a really, really, really unique spot on the field that you could attack. And then, the Z spot is really good. The Z spot plays really good. You also have a stemmed corner. So, like, you could literally, guys, you could run a play like this. This is like a really, really good play. So you have the stemmed corner. That stemmed corner can be thrown against cover 4. So, like, let's say they're running like cover 4 hard flat. You could throw, watch the stem corner. You can just throw that to the sideline possession, catch it. So they're going to have to worry about all that over there. And then this is where I really like this stem post, because you stem it up one time and it puts it into a really good spot. And what's going to happen again against like cover 4, cover 3, any coverage, they switched it to the right. I throw post on the left. See how nice that this is why trips is good, because trips spaces the field better than any other offense, except for maybe U trips. Okay. Last play I want to go over just real briefly with you is this play motion or China Y post. And this play is to attack really the left side. So I'm going to stem this corner down one. And then the way that I like to run this from trips is a couple different ways. So the first one is a motion setup. I really like this setup right here. I think this just spaces the field really well, and it gives this corner route a nice. It's hard to cover that, right? If they're running a lot of cover 4, that means they want to switch stick. What I'll typically do is I will streak, not fade, streak this outside guy. Stem this guy down one, flat this guy, and then I might even motion the running back out and drag him. Okay? So what we have here is we have this streak corner flat, It's going to be hard to switch stick this because we could throw that streak for a touchdown if they do, or we could throw the flat for a decent gain if they switch stick. Okay. The other thing you could do is watch this tight end post. It just kind of gets into this really, really unique spot on the field that pretty much has to be usered. Okay. So like if it's a cover 3, if you put the running back on a streak, like something like this, watch this tight end post. A lot of times this will be a cover 3 bomb. Okay, so you have that. And then this is also a really good man beating route, especially for cover 2 man, which you're seeing a lot of people go to cover 2 man. Why is this good for cover 2 man? So if I see this and I know it's cover 2 man, what I'd probably suggest that you did is have really just something like this. Doesn't have to be too crazy. Just something like this. But watch this tight end post, get that sharp cut to the middle of the field. And then you're able to, I would have possession caught that, but you're able to, or I should have, you're able to hit that. Now, the way that you get this deep half on the right side to not be as big of a threat seems like a little subtle thing, but just using a motion streak. Just use a motion streak, right? Now that deep half doesn't play him, and now you've basically just manipulated cover 2 man. So this is how I like to run trips tight end. Trips also features one of the best red zone plays that you see every year. You see everybody run this every year, and that's flat, an in route, a slant, table route, and then a backside in, stemmed up 1 time. So see this? This is one of the best plays. Why? Well, because you just have a lot of reads that are hard to cover for the entirety of a play. It just spaces the field really well, and that's why people run trips, right? Because ultimately they're going to hard flat, and one of the best ways to manipulate a hard flat defense is this right here, because watch this in route just get open. Boom. So that's Strip Side In. I want to thank you for watching the video. If you want to check out any more stuff on this, make sure that you join our school community where you'll get all my offensive and defensive ebooks.